Of Edgbaston then, welcome to Bears Den TV, our live stream of this afternoon's T20 Blast encounter between the Birmingham Bears and the Leicestershire Foxes. Of course, as you can see, the Guard of Honour and the flag wavers are ready to go. We await the arrival of our two umpires today, Paul Pollard and Ian Blackwell, and of course the two teams. If you have just joined us, the news from the toss is that Leicestershire Foxes won the toss and chose to bat first, so we expect to see Hamish Rutherford, the New Zealand international, and Scott Steele appear very shortly to open the innings for the visitors. In terms of team news for you today, the Bears tomorrow, maybe he will return for that, you would hope, but Rob Yates keeps his place in the side, which is otherwise unchanged since the opening game of the season. As for Leicestershire, on the end of a very heavy defeat last night against Northamptonshire, Northampton's racking up 227 for one from their 20 overs. Just one change there, Roman Walker drops out the side and Will Davis comes in. Alongside me this afternoon for the start. Anyway, it's good to see him. We wish he was out there playing, but Liam Norwell's with us. First of all, how's the injury?
Yeah, getting there. First of all, thanks for having me. I had a bowl pre-game today, but got through 5 overs, and I'm playing club cricket Saturday to hopefully be fit for next Sunday against Lancashire in the 4-day.
Oh, well, that's excellent news, isn't it?
So hopefully, yeah. Fingers crossed everything goes well from here. We've kind of got to this position a couple of times and it's not quite gone well, so touch wood, I'm at the end of it now and I can just crack on this season and get playing.
And we get the pleasure of your company then for the T20 cricket. I mean, the boys have started magnificently, haven't they?
Unbelievably well. To go 3 from 3, but not just going 3 from 3, the way we've done it. Obviously, first game, unbelievable batting. Second game, holding our nerve after losing our way a little bit, and then on Sunday against Durham, the way we started with the ball, and then the partnership between Hose and Benjamin to get us over the line. Everyone's contributed. It's not just been stand-up players, single players, it's been proper team efforts.
And as well, to get the job done chasing as well, having set big totals in the first 2 innings, it just almost gets rid of that little stigma. Well, okay, it's all well and good when you're setting totals, can you chase?
Yeah, exactly. You see a lot of teams who do struggle to chase. Leicester, for example, have won 1 game batting first, lost 3 chasing. So chasing is always tough because of the scoreboard pressure, and the fact we managed to do it successfully, and hopefully again today we do it successfully, it bodes well for the tournament.
And it wasn't just the nature of the chase, was it? The fact that there was a bit of trouble going on at 32 for 4, and yet they still, once they got settled, they still played positively.
Yeah, I think a bit of trouble was understating it, but that partnership between Hose and Benjamin, across the 2 games they had the good partnership at Derby where they showed they could just be aggressive and really go for it, and in that partnership they showed that they've got a good cricketing brain. They worked the situation, they waited for their bowlers in ball for it to come on, and they picked the situation to really go for it, and then that set them up. So I think it's really good that we've shown that we can do it all guns blazing, and we can actually be smart about how we go about our cricket and to win a game.
Well, as you can see, the 2 batsmen on their way out. There's the huddle conducted by Carlos Brathwaite. I suspect, well, I wouldn't even like to judge who's potentially going to bowl the first over, because we have seen a fair bit of chopping and changing. We saw Jacob Bethel take the ball early on last Sunday, and prior to that Paul Sterling had a bowl first up as well. I think this time though, is it going to be Craig Miles?
It is going to be Craig Miles, it will be.
And is this all about the matchups, isn't it? So
yeah. We're
going to see Hamish Rutherford, the former New Zealand international, on strike. I'm assuming that they feel a pace bowler is going to be the better matchup for him.
Yeah, that's where our analysts come into play. They'll give us stats on each player. So obviously the stats are telling us pace up front to Rutherford is the way to go. He's a very good player, like I said, ex-international player. And I think you're also going to see quite a funky field. I don't think you're going to see a traditional third man deep square. I think you're going to see maybe more of a gully line, which is kind of where it's going there, because he does like to carve the ball through backward point. And we've actually got 2 catches in play already. We've got a slip and a gully, which you very rarely see in T20. Yeah. So we've obviously, George, our analyst, has obviously got his plans together, and this is where we're going to go.
Well, he's been around county cricket for a while as Hamish Rutherford, and he's going to face the first ball, which is coming from Craig Miles from the Birmingham end, and he drives it straight down the ground, and there's no run. And that's well fielded that time by Jake Lintop.
Good start from Craig, just full of length. One thing you don't want to do to Hamish Rutherford is give him any kind of width. So you want to be bringing the stumps into play. Almost a bit of 4-day cricket length to begin with. He's very strong on the pull shot, and he's very strong cutting and slashing through the offside.
He's obviously playing for Glamorgan last season in this competition, but has made the switch to the Leicestershire Foxes. And countryman, of course, in action at Lords, not doing very well. He'll be hoping for better as Miles is in again. Turned on the leg side this time. There's a big gap there to allow the single, and Lintop with just a slight misfield, and Scott Steele was quite eager for a second run.
He wanted it, but I don't think Rutherford had even realised he'd been in a misfield. Again, another aggressive player in Scott Steele. I think he came from Durham a few years ago.
He did, yeah.
I think he's mainly a white ball player, and he got some runs last night, if I'm correct. I think he got 60 odd.
Yeah, 64 from 45 balls, chasing down that huge Steelback's total of 227. When you see the form that Chris Lynn has been in since he came here on the opening night,
I think he got away with one.
very, very much so. Bludgeoned 100 off 60 odd balls yesterday, and Jimmy Neesham had arrived back from the IPL with a very healthy 70 odd from 30 deliveries yesterday. So I think he was quite lucky to get that Steelback's game out of the way. Miles to continue then, this time to Steele, who drives him outside the off stump, and it's a thickest outside edge, and will just collect a single to Jacob Bethel. 2 for no loss then, midway through the first over.
It's a steady start from both teams. Craig's hit his length well here, and the batsman's been quite, well, it's only 3 balls in, but for T20 they've been quite quiet so far.
Yeah, very much so. Craig, of course, has already taken 5 wickets so far this season. 2 for 29 is best figures. You consider we're into game number 4 of the campaign. He's only bowling his 11th over so far. He's in that short.
Well bowled.
Good ball. Certainly had Rutherford nipping out the way. That's his 1 for the over.
That is, and I think with this field set, it's probably the last ball he's expecting, so it's a good double bluff there from Craig. I know he's got the deep square put out, but with the more gully line than a third man, I don't think he would have been expecting the short ball, so I think it's a very good double bluff there from Craig with his field.
Henry Brooks wearing the number 10, of course. He's loosening up in the covers.
Yeah, I think I'll expect Henry to come this end. Again, match up these boys, but like to face spin.
Miles in again, coming round the wicket, and he just tucks up Rutherford for space. Take a quick single. Maybe Craig needs to work on his skills a little.
To be fair to him, he's probably just about the best footballer in our squad. But yeah, he's very good. Him and Matt Lamb are the 2 best. But it was well bowled, and that's T20 cricket. They take the quick singles, and the only thing to do was put a left boot to it, and unfortunately he's a right-footed.
Last ball to come of the first over then. Yeah, very quiet start.
Very quiet start. Bears will be very happy with this 3 or 5 balls. It will be about closing out the over here, making sure there's no boundary. Anything under 6 of the first over you'll be very happy with.
11 victories in the 17 games between these 2 sides for the Bears, so they've had the upper hand over the years. And that was outside the off stump. You know, swish at that one. Wasn't too far.
No, it wasn't too far away. It probably wasn't the ball Craig wanted to bowl, and it almost worked in his favour because, like I said, the field we got set. You're not really aiming to bowl short and wide, but it's worked in his favour, and it's a superb first over. 3 runs off it.
Really good start for the Birmingham Bears, and Henry Brooks is going to come into the attack from the pavilion.
I think Henry's been impressive so far, picking up wickets, bowled at good pace, and him and Craig have really formed a good partnership in this T20 bowling lineup.
He's had a good start as well for the campaign, already with 6 wickets to his name. And he's bowling again from this pavilion end, right on the mark straight away to Hamish Rutherford, and there's no run.
It's an awkward length that, but just short of a length, straight into mid-drift. There's not much Rutherford can do with that, and at the pace Henry bowls, there's not really anywhere he can go. think what's impressed me is the pace Henry's bowled this year. It's been proper pace, and it's something that we know he's got. And obviously he had injury issues last year, and it's just nice to see him back in and bowling fast.
And he's in again. And once more he's bowling to Rutherford, who cuts him away for 4. That's not really where you want to bowl to Hamish Rutherford. You mentioned it earlier, right in the zone for him, and it's crashed away off the bowling of Henry Brooks, and that's the first boundary of the game.
I don't think Henry will mind the length. It's just the width he's given on offer there. He's just slashed it away a little bit. If that's a fraction straighter, he can't obviously brings us something to play. But it's exactly where Rutherford wants it. Like I said on the stat pack, he slashes for the offside. He picks up well on the short ball.
He's on to 6, and the Foxes on to 7. This one is on the legs, and it will just be turned out for a single.
Well fielded by Adam Hose.
I think it's interesting you talk about the speed that Henry's come back with. We were talking in the first couple of games, having spent all of last season on the sidelines, he's really come back with this renewed strength, this desire. As a fast bowler, how hard is it when you do return? Is there those niggling doubts in your mind, or?
I think naturally there are. It's very hard to talk about what Henry might be thinking, but I think the big thing for Henry, he's got such a belief in his ability that when he is bowling, he just backs himself 100%.
He's in again, that's short. Oh, he's fended away by Steele.
And that is quick.
Really good ball from Henry Brooks. I was watching him and Simmons bowling earlier in the warm-up. Both very lively. Very
lively. I think Shea Simmons is going to have a very bright future, and if you can have a bowling attack of Henry, Shea Simmons and Craig, and Farrell Stone into the mix, you've got a very quick bowling line up there.
It's a very good option. No slouch yourself, Leo.
Oh, well, I get it through all right, but I'm not claiming to be Henry or Stoney pace.
It's the 5th ball of the second over, 9 without loss. Rutherford's back on strike, and that's skewed up in the air. That's gone up a long way, and Alex Davies wants it, and he's getting it in the gloves. And the first box is out, and it's the big wicket of Hamish Rutherford.
It's a very big wicket.
Off the bowling of Brooks, caught by Davies, and the Foxes are 9 for 1.
It's a very good piece of bowling. He's held his nerve, he's kept the stumps into play, and 9 off 1.5 overs is a shot had to come.
That's gone up a long way, and Alex Davies wants it, and he's getting it.
Run all the way from, well, obviously keeper to almost backward point to take the catch. It's very good work from Davies, and it's a perfect start for the Bears. 11 balls gone, 9 for 1. You couldn't ask for much more.
Aaron Lilly is the new batsman. The former Lancashire man will enter the fray, the all-rounder. He hits a good ball.
Yeah, he's an explosive batsman, very explosive batsman. I believe he just plays white ball cricket now, so it means he can just focus on being as explosive as he can with the bat. And again, he's someone we've just got to make sure we maintain, and I think you might see more of a traditional field now. Well, I'm incorrect. They're going back to a slip and a gully, so it must be a ploy we feel is going to work well against these Leicestershire players.
Lilly will take strike to the final ball of Henry Brooks' first over. Takes a wicket again, moves him level for the season with Danny Briggs as the leading wicket taker, on to 7 in this competition. Wickets very much being shared around by this Bears side, and decent economy rates and a good average as well.
Very much
strike
so.
Rates.
I think that's where our strength has been. Durham at weekend, 4 down in the power play. I think we had Derby 3 down in the power play. And obviously Northants had to chase a big total, but they were 3 or 4 down in the power play. If you can get wickets in the power play, teams are always going to struggle.
It's the full start because Lilly not quite ready. It's the 1 ball remaining in the second over. A really good crowd as well. The Hollies have filled up nicely. Family stand as well, looking thronging this afternoon. It's a bank
Great
holiday,
over.
and it's a good over. 6 runs from it for Henry Brooks, and at the end of the second over, the Leicestershire Foxes, should I say, are 9 for 1.
Superb start from the Bears. Stony pace.
It's the 5th ball of the second over, 9 without loss. Rutherford's back on strike, and that's skewed up in the air. That's gone up a long way, and Alex Davies wants it, and he's getting it in the gloves. And the first box is out, and it's the 5th ball of the second over, 9 without loss. Rutherford's back on strike, and that's having a look at the replay. That shot up in the air by Rutherford. It was a really good catch from Davies. Clearly the shout went out.
Yeah.
No one else decided to go anywhere near. Always safe for catching with a big miss on, I suspect. Start of the third over, then Danny Briggs into the attack for the Bears. I think it'd be interesting to see if Rutherford was still out there, whether we'd have seen spin at this stage, but usually very economical.
Well fielded by Chris Benjamin.
First ball's a dot ball.
Be interesting in this matchup as well. So Scott Steele last night scored a lot of his runs against the spinners, a lot of slog sweeping. So you saw Danny quite meticulously placing his cow corner.
It's a little bit shorter, cut away. Straight to Sterling again, another dot ball.
I think different batsmen will feel pressure at different times, but as soon any batsman, so Steele is now 2 off 6, he's going to be feeling the pressure. And like I said, he scored a lot of runs off the spin last night, so you could see a slog sweep come out or a reverse sweep. They seem to be his 2 go-tos last night from the cricket that I saw.
And goes very quickly as well, already midway through Briggs' over. And you can very quickly nip through an over with no runs being added.
And that's what Danny's going to try and do here. He's got 4 dot balls in a row. He's going to rush through these next 2 and just try and mount the pressure and still.
You get out now without a boundary. He bowls again, and all he can do is give it back. It's fired in again from Danny Briggs, and now they're going to swap. They're swapping the mid-on to mid-off and the long-on and the long-off. Really feel that that's where Steele may choose to go this time. Briggs bowls again. Oh, it's a full toss. That's a poor ball to end the over, and it's all the way for 6. Well, a terrific over by Danny Briggs. Slightly undone with that last ball. A full toss, well dispatched by Steele. He moves on to 8, and at the end of the 3rd over, the score moves on to 15 for 1.
It's not the way Danny obviously would have wanted to finish over, but if you, as spinner going for 6 on the power play, you're taking that every day of the week. So to have the Leicestershire 15 for 1 after 3, it's been a great start by the Bears.
Well, Henry Brooks is going to get the 2nd over from the pavilion end. No real surprise there, of course. As I said, he's grabbed that 1st wicket. He'll be looking for another breakthrough from Henry. We are 7 for the season so far for him then. Take 3 for 38 already through this campaign. 38 wickets in total in T20 Blast. And to Lilly, and he beats him outside the off stump.
It's beating for a bit of pace there. I can see what Lilly's trying to do with no 3rd man. He's trying to give himself a bit of room to just carve it down there. I think Henry. We've still got a gully in play in the 4th over of a T20, which is unheard of.
Looks like the plans have been well worked out here. Carlos is clapping his hands just to Henry Brooks' left. Henry's in again. That's a little bit short and onto the leg side, and it mowed into the leg side just to as far as Jake Lintop.
I think he's trying to back away there to play the same kind of shot, and Henry's followed him, and that's all he could really do with it. It's very smart bowling from Henry. And again, he's just mounting the pressure coming in the batsman now. You've got Lilly on 1 off 3 balls, and still he's under a run of ball. And in power play where you've really got to make your mark and get off to a good start.
Those points as well. You look to capitalise on maybe 50 shots taken on at 16 for 1. That's cut away, but straight to the fielder on the point boundary. Just a single again. Still on to 9, 17 for 1.
That's some very smart. I mentioned a couple of times that's some very smart field placing. Again, this all comes from our stat guy George. He's been very good analyst, but it's not often you have a deep point and a deep square leg in the power play. Traditionally, you have a deep square leg and a 3rd man or a 3rd man fine leg. So we've obviously got our stat packets right for this game.
Lilly is eyeing that mid-wicket boundary, which is vacant. That one's short, and again it's played out to the offside, just short of Chris Benjamin as well. And again, he tried to make room for himself. Henry cramped him though by following him. Again,
it's great bowling from Henry. He's going pretty early there, so he's given Henry a good sighter, but to be able to see that as you're loading up to bowl and follow him at good pace and still execute your skills, high quality bowling and some superb fielding from Chris Benjamin.
2 balls remaining in the over, just 2 runs from the over so far. Again, another over if you can get away without a boundary.
Oh, it'd be massive.
Bonus,
and you can see that we're taking the slip out and he's going just into the mid-wicket, just trying to protect that boundary.
I know where Lilly's trying to go as Brooks bowls again. He makes room for himself this time. It's a wide ball.
I think Henry tried to double guess him there, expecting him to back away again. It was a quick ball, you can see as it's whizzed past Lilly's shoulder. He didn't enjoy it, but he's just aired a little bit too leg side. But as a bowler, when the batsman is repeatedly backing away, you're going to play percentages and you're going to go for that ball. So it's a wide, it's not ideal, but it's a wide that we'll happily take because we're trying to play to where he doesn't want the ball bowled.
Balls of Liam Norwell, who's alongside us here at Bears Den TV for today's T20 game. Brooks is in again.
Well bowled.
A really nice ball that Lilly can just defend.
I think this is also showing how good these pitches are, the pace that is coming out of this. This is the third game on this pitch, and you're still getting good pace out of this wicket.
Well, it's the fourth, actually, if you include the game in the Charlotte Edwards Cup as well.
Oh, I thought the Sparks moved across to the
maybe they did.
other pitch. I could be completely wrong on that. But
I mean, these hybrids, though.
they're superb.
In the days gone by,
Yeah.
this would be crumbling like anything now, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It's Henry Brooks who's in again. This time he's cut away, and that's 4 runs. Well, Lily this time did make some room, and they found a boundary the last ball of the over, and it was a desperately needed boundary as well. Lily moves on to 5, takes the score into the 20s at the end of the 4th over. 22 for 1.
I know I'm biased, but I'm still saying that's a Bears over. To have him going under 6 in the power play. He's tried that 4 balls in a row, and he was going to come off at some point. It's 2020 cricket is going to come off, but I think it's been very, very good from Henry, Craig and Danny so far. And
Craig Miles just went for 3 in that opening over. And he will change in the field here.
So we've got a deep backward square leg and a backward point. So again, setting up for probably back of length bowling here to Scott. Still.
Miles is in, and it's a full.
As I say, that he bowls a Yorker. But
and it's hanging for a long time, and it's dropped. And it's Chris Benjamin, I think, who's dropped that.
And he's almost needed it for 4 as well. It's nearly got to the boundary after he's dropped it, but luckily it's just 2.
He's up in the air for a long time. He's on his haunches now, Chris Benjamin. He'll be frustrated, for sure. Only 4 for 1. Miles in again, and he's just trying to scoop that. Makes no contact, and there's no run.
I think Craig's seen him go there. Looks like he's just bowled a slightly slower ball, whether he's just rolled it outside his hand there. I think still went quite early, and I think Craig was wise to it. But a very good piece of bowling.
As we say, scored 64 last night from those 45 balls, 11 from 13 so far for the former.
I think what the Bears need to be wary of, he started solely last night from what I understand, and then he's still got 60 or 40, so he's obviously got a lot of talent.
Miles in again. That's carved away. Kenny's not put all of that, almost clothed it, just about cleared the field up, and we'll get back for 2.
Yeah, he's not. You can see what he's trying to do. He's aiming for a cow corner. Probably the shortest boundary out there, but like I said, he's not got all of it. Enough though to get 2, and he's starting to get the scoreboard just ticking slightly, but again, they're only just going at 5, so the Bears are going to be very happy with the start.
Once more, the crowd is just a little hustle amongst them. It is a great turnout for a bank holiday afternoon, of course, and the weather's fine. Probably the best day of the Jubilee weekend, all in all. That's carved out to the boundary again. Jacob Bethel's there, and a really good throw as well.
Very well fielded.
Just for a moment I wondered if Alex Davis was going to get there in time, but he did. Score moves on to 28 for 1, Steele on to 15, nearly on to 5.
Superb work there from Jacob Bethel. I think that's just showing his all-round cricketing ability. It's quite sickening how talented that boy is. Makes you feel quite old when you're training with him.
I bet. Last ball then of over number 5. And
I think you can expect this to be short because Greg's brought his point up, put his fine leg back, so you can expect this to be short up into the ribcage kind of area, I'd imagine.
There's 2 men back here for Steele. And then he bowls a Yorker.
He's bowled a Yorker. It's good. It's either good double bluffing or I'm completely reading the game wrong today.
Well, no, I think, listen, you're probably right in the way they split the field, but maybe that's what Craig Miles was planning. 29 for 1 then at the end of the 5th over.
And we've got the captain coming on to bowl from the pavilion end.
Over here at the Carling Best Seats in the House with today's winners. Are you having a good time? I said, are you having a good time? And you could be here in these seats at next week's home match if you follow us on Twitter at Warwickshire CCC. You Bears!
The other day against Durham early on as well. Doesn't take much for these white balls when they hit a bit of concrete or whatever to suddenly stop doing what they were doing before. It's going to be a single. It'll complete the power play with Steele on 26 and the Foxes on 40 for 1 at the end of the power play.
I think if you at the start of the game said 40 for 1 from power play, you'd be quite happy. But I think the Foxes might just be the happier after being, I think, 15 after 3 overs. They've managed to tick it along quite nicely the last few. But now this is going to be the tricky period for them on a game, a third game pitch with our spinners coming on to bowl, hoping to tie it down.
Beautiful sunshine over Birmingham today. A few light clouds from our vantage point up on high, and no wonder Danny Briggs has got the shades on. It's very bright out there. 40 for 1, and the field spreads obviously. The power play is now concluded, and his first ball is touched into the leg side by Steele. Chance for a run out. He would have been out. I think there's no doubt about that. Had Danny Briggs hit, and on that angle, he probably had at least 2, possibly 3 stops to aim at.
I think so. I think he almost had more time than he realised. But it's a superb piece of fielding from Danny, just to even get there and give himself a chance to get the throw off.
Brings Lily on to strike. It's wrapped on the pads and
Probably sliding at the angle Danny's bowling from, I'd imagine. There wasn't much interest from the umpire.
yeah, the appeal came from Alex Davis and Danny Briggs, but Paul Pollard unmoved. Oh, and he's taken a swing. He's bowled him. Was he under-edged him, or was Alex Davis?
No, I think that's come off Davis's pad and flicked back onto the stumps.
Yeah, well, I'm surprised. Danny Briggs has a habit of just sliding those balls through.
He's a very difficult spinner to sweep, because of that.
Fourth ball of the over, and this time he's got it. He's edged that one. Lily's gone for 5. Second Fox is out, and Leicestershire are 42 for 2 then. And Danny Briggs, as ever, strikes for the Birmingham Bears.